April 5th, 2013, from the stylish high-tech underground studios of Ribbit Media in Warwick, Rhode Island, this is NewsUndies. For April 5th, 2013, this is NewsUndies, all the news that shouldn't be news. I'm Paul Torville with these headlines. Economic powerhouse North Korea bans South Korean workers from joint-owned factory. Really? Texas DA and wife murdered. If only they'd had guns. Mark Sanford is back! Okay, Mark. No more hiking this time. Got it? Woman claims to have smelled God during a so-called near-death experience. What does God smell like? Bacon, obviously. Scientists find steaming hole in the ground. This location may be a location ancient Romans referred to as the gateway to the underworld. News media trades integrity for misleading sensationalist headline. No one notices. Tar sands pipeline pops, spills in Oklahoma neighborhood. ExxonMobil relieved that piping tar sands through populated areas is profitable. Sorry, clean and safe. New York, 12 years later, still finding people parts from 9/11. Great. Finding Dory? Wait, when did we hear about this? Please tell me it was April Fool's Day. Buck Wild star Shane Gandy, death accidental by carbon monoxide poisoning. In his truck. In the woods. He who lives by the stereotype dies by the stereotype. Will Kevin Ware ever matter to me? Sincerely, I have never heard of this person. Pro golfer Bubba Watson has a hovercraft for a golf cart. Necessary and sensible. Is it just me, or is this reminiscent of Al Cervic? Indian High Court spanks Novartis for patent nonsense. We have finally reached the point where modern America needs to look to a modern developing country for guidance on sensible business regulation. I feel so much better now. Katherine Jackson to sue for $40 billion. Holy crap! $40 billion approaches what one might call real money. Whom is she suing? And on what grounds? Well, she's suing AEG, the concert promoter that was running Michael Jackson's This Is It tour, on the basis that Jackson would have made, how much? $40 billion over the years. The website CelebrityNetWorth.com reports that Jackson had earned about $500 million from his own music by the time of his death. They also report that his 50% ownership of Sony ATV is worth about $1 billion. This is the music publishing concern that Jackson bought in 1985, which owns the publishing rights to, among other things, basically the entire output of the partnership of John Lennon and Paul McCartney. So, Katherine Jackson believes her aging son's musical career had enough steam left to earn 80 times, that's 80, what it had produced in the previous 4 decades, in the next 1 or 2. That's optimism on a level that makes the Heaven's Gate kids look like a bunch of hopeless Wes Anderson characters. Stock up on popcorn. This promises to be a sideshow of epic proportions. And finally, and I do mean finally, we all saw this coming, didn't we? Disney hasn't waited too long to crank up the Disney sequel machine following its acquisition of Pixar. That's a relief. Most Pixar movies have historically had distinct, definite story arcs with beginnings, middles, and ends, which don't necessarily lend themselves to episodic storytelling. Case in point, Finding Nemo. Well, apparently Disney has decided it needs more money, and the way to make it is to make Finding Nemo again, but shuffling the characters a bit. So look forward to Finding Dory in theaters Thanksgiving 2015. Yeesh. Well, that's all for this edition of News Undies. If you see news that shouldn't be news, you can submit your story tips online at newsundies.com. News Undies is a weekly show. We'll be back on Friday, April 12th with fresh undies. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, ignore us on MySpace, tell your friends, and buy News Undies Kitsch. Thanks for watching. Until next time, for all of us here at News Undies, I'm Paul Torville. After that, I might be hovering wildly around a golf course near you. It's possible.